While that's firing up, let me thank everyone in the class who invited their friends to this. Your support, of course, makes all of this possible, and the chance to share this with friends is a real treat. Okay, here we go. The recording is active. We get to welcome everyone in the class and friends of the class who are joining us for this lesson by replay. We're sad you couldn't be with us live, but Bridget does teach a new lesson every week. Maybe you can join us next week. Right, even if you're watching by replay, stay engaged with her questions. You can respond verbally, you can respond typing, you could respond writing. If you have questions and you're a member of the class, you can, of course, leave them for Bridget on the class page. And if you're watching this somewhere else, you have any questions about Bridget's class or about this lesson, reach out to us, hello@learnbridgeonline.com. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have about her class. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Lynn, don't worry. I'll make sure that this recording of the lesson is available to everyone who registered for it afterwards, so you'll be able to catch up. Thanks for joining us for some of it. Okay, before I call Bridget up, I'm going to compliment her a little bit. It has just been such a pleasure and honor having her teach lessons here at LearnBridge Online. For those of you unfamiliar, she's one of the most popular, loved, respected teachers coming out of the London scene. Her excitement about the game is just contagious. And her ability to push us to really think about what we're doing, about why we're doing what we're doing, is so effective in helping us increase our confidence. We all memorize and learn so many rules, but she challenges us to really understand, well, why are they there in the first place? And when might be the times we bend them? And already taking her lessons, I feel so much more confident as a player. The other folks in the class have been just singing her praises. And I've been hearing from folks who have been learning from her for even longer. They've shared the same sort of enthusiasm. So without further ado, yeah, I love it. The virtual round of applause from all corners of the world in a very literal sense. Please join me in calling Bridget on up to the stage. Let's get started. Hey, Bridget.
Hi.
Did you hear that? I mean, applause from every,
Oh, it
across
is
the
so
world.
lovely. Thank you so much. And I'm just a bit upset, really, that's not been recorded because, or maybe it has.
Oh no,
That's
it
my
has.
family.
Yeah, this is
So
for
you
posterity.
guys, you're making me do the dishes right now, but these people love me. No, but it's absolutely lovely to be here, and welcome to all our regulars and everyone here who's here for the first time as well. So we hope you enjoy the lesson today. As Bridget said, it's all about getting involved with us. So type in your questions, have a think as we're talking, and we're going to go through this together. When Bridget was talking and he said we were all learners, I thought it just sparked a memory for me. And years ago, I went to paint Zia Mahmood's portrait because I'd paint in my spare time. And Zia Mahmood, as some of you will know, is probably the most famous bridge player in the world. And I was talking to him. He's absolutely brilliant. I felt like I was with a star. And he said, I still feel like I'm learning every single day with bridge. I feel like I'm a learner every day. And, he's in his probably mid to late 70s now. He's brilliant at bridge, and he has his moments where he thinks, oh, that's something I feel like I'm not quite there, or I need to learn from this game. And he also said, that's why I keep playing. That's why I'm still here playing this game and still challenged by this game, which I really like that.
It's inspiring and reassuring.
Yeah.
All right, Bridget, I will turn it over to you. I will be here learning alongside the rest of the class. Also, for any folks who need any technical support, again, you can reach me, hello@learnbridgeonline.com, or reply to any of our emails, and I'll be there to help other folks however I can. Bridget, over to you.
Okay, cool. Let me just shrink me down. And I hope everyone can see the picture. As someone noticed, it's Carwell Island in New Zealand. And we've got a picture here of a boat. So some of you will have seen the YouTube promotional video Bridget did. Others might not have. So you might be thinking, why has Bridget put a boat in the picture when the lesson's about communication? Some of you will know the answer here, but the reason I put it in is because I like to think of the bridge table sometimes when I'm a declarer as having this sort of big C between me and the dummy. And I want to be really sure that I've always got ways to communicate between the hands. And communication is such an important part of bridge. Every aspect of bridge involves communication. And when you're a declarer, you really want to make sure that you've always got that little boat to travel to and from your hand to dummy and back again. So that's what we're thinking about today, having that little boat always in place when you're the declarer. I'm going to pop through to this first slide. There's going to be sort of a bit of a mixture here between some stuff that a lot of people will be very, very familiar with and some more challenging things as well. So follow it, just see what you think, ask questions, but we'll start slowly. So when we're talking about communication between your hand and the dummy, we know a few things. Like we all know that it's normally right to play high from the shorthand. I'm just quickly going to clarify for some people who are maybe not so familiar with this. When you talk about the shorthand and the long hand in bridge, the shorthand is simply the hand with fewer cards in it. So see this top example I've got here. The shorthand there is you because you've only got 2 spades there. And the long hand is the dummy because they've got 4 spades. So just looking at this first example, if you are trying to make tricks from this particular holding, say you know that you've got sort of lots of entries between both the hands, between you and the dummy, and you know that you need to make 4 tricks from this hand. Is everyone comfortable about how we can do that? How we can make 4 tricks from this hand? In fact, let's bring it up on the whiteboard. We'll run through it. Hold on a second. Let's pop the whiteboard up. Okay, so say we've got, let's see if I can get it exactly right. So we've got the ace, the queen, the 4, and the 2, and that's in dummy, and that's your hand. And you've got the king and the jack in your hand. So say you've got a lot of communications between both hands and the other suits, like the side suits. Imagine that we're playing in no trumps, so no one is going to ruff him. If you can make 4 tricks in this suit fairly easily by just simply playing out the king, playing out the jack, and then using that little boat to cross over to dummy in another suit and playing out this one and playing out this one. And that gives us 4 tricks. So that's all fantastic. But now imagine, let me just delete that. Now put the same hand up again. And this time, I want you to think that you only need 3 tricks. And I also want you to imagine that you've no longer got any entries to the dummy. In this particular situation, when you play the king, and you only need 3 tricks, you've got no other entries, you've got no little boat in another suit to go across the dummy, how are you going to play the next trick? So we've played the king, you need 3 tricks from this suit, what are we going to do? Who's going to get there first? Right, so we're going to play the king first, and then we have to overtake this jack with the ace. So that's 1 trick, that's 2 tricks. And then when we play the queen, we get our 3rd trick, and we throw away something from a side suit. People often, especially when they're sort of starting out with their bridge and haven't had the experience yet, feel a little bit nervous about overtaking high cards because they feel like they're wasting a high card to play 2 high cards together. But try not to think like that. They all become of sort of equal value. And sometimes you will have to use high cards to communicate between your hand and the dummy hand. Let's pop back to our slides again. I think we've got them there. Okay, so now I'm going to look at a finessing situation. So you also want to make sure when you're finessing that you're going to end up where you want to end up. And sometimes it's actually a little bit like playing pool or snooker. So you pay your shot, but then you want to make sure everything is set up. By the way, I can't play pool or snooker this well. I would never be able to achieve this. But I know that experts in those games play a shot and actually manage to get the ball in the right place for their next shot. And bridge is a little a little bit like that sometimes. So we've got this finesse situation here down the bottom. So if you really need to make 4 tricks from this suit, that holding down the bottom, I want you to think how to do it. I'm going to bring it up on the whiteboard while you think. See if you can visualize it. Whiteboard's coming. So I think we have the ace, the queen, 9 and the 6, jack, 10, 8, and 7. So you really want to try and make 4 tricks from this holding. So clearly if the king is here, that's not going to work, right? Unless it's a singleton, which is very unlikely for it to be a singleton king. So we do need the king to be here. So when you need something to be in the right place, you kind of imagine that it is in the right place. Whoops, gone one. Wonder if I can bring that back by going forward. Nope, I'm going to have to pop it up again. Hold on a second. Ace, queen, 9, 6, jack, 10, 8, 7. So now let's actually put the king here. And we can even give them a bad split. We can even make it a 4-4-4-1 split. So in this particular holding, you really want to make 4 tricks from this suit. And you don't want them, well, obviously, you don't want them to make their king. So you need to be in the right place for the second trick. So if you played up to the queen here, you can see that if you don't have any entries, it's absolutely terrible because you can't get back across to this hand. And then you'd have to just play the ace out. But then these people are going to make their king, which would be a really bad thing. So instead, I wonder if we must be able to just go back 1, but I think it's going to, oh no, we're good. Let's keep doing that. So in this situation, who knows how we could play this suit to make sure we stay in the right place to keep taking this finesse? If you played up to the queen and then played the ace, it's not going to work unless the king's a doubleton. If you just put down your ace, it's not going to work unless the king's a singleton. So Rosemary's suggesting the jack, and I really like that. So you play the jack. Now, what are you going to play from this top hand? Beryl's saying the 6, and I love that. So basically, you play the 6, and you're still in the right place. The snooker ball has landed in the right place to try and take that finesse again. So now what are we going to play? You're still here in this hand, and you've won the jack. 10, cool, everyone's getting this. So the 10 to the 9. We're still here in the right place. 8 to the queen. This person's throwing away things, and then bash, down goes that ace and kills that king for all 4 tricks. For some of you, this will seem blindingly obvious, but for other people, when you're not familiar with this, it is a little bit harder to just visually see what's happening. But you're basically keeping your starting spot in the right place so you can keep making that finesse and enabling those communications between the 2 hands, between your hand and the dummy hand. Let's bring us, I think I have to actually go off that one to bring us back to our slides. Well, one of the fun things I want to talk about today is this idea, or these 2 ideas, hopefully, if we can get there, of ducking and unblocking when you are the declarer. So I'm going to look at these 2 ways of keeping communication going between your hand and dummy hand. It's all about sort of ducking to maximize your tricks. Sometimes you do it to be on the safe side to make what's called a safety play. And sometimes you do it as a necessity. And we're going to look at unblocking the suit too. But what I'm going to do now is just pop you over to Bridge Base. We're going to bid some hands and talk about how to make the hands. So can someone please just give me a thumbs up that you can see the hand? And Wendy, to answer to your question, is there a name for that type of finesse? I'm sure there is. I just can't off the top of my head think to what the name for that sort of finesse is. I always think of it as kind of like a backwards finesse, but I don't think that is actually its official name. Great, so everyone can see the hand. So we've got North here is the dealer, and North has opened 3 clubs. So she's opened a weak 3, telling me that she's got 7 clubs and a weak hand. So she's not vulnerable. Personally, if my partner opens at not vulnerable, my partner can be super weak. So I don't take her for very many points because I know that she really likes to take the mickey and get involved and block the opponents out of the bidding. But South here has got a slightly conservative partner. South knows that her partner won't do that unless she's got something sort of okay. And she has punted 3 no trumps here. She thinks if my partner's got 7 clubs, if we can make 6 of them, it feels like we're going to make 3 no trumps here. And she comes in and bids 3 no trumps. So Jack of Hearts was led on this hand. So let's stop now and count the tricks. I want everyone to go through this motion of counting tricks in each suit. How many hearts, how many spades, how many clubs, and how many diamonds. So just take a second to do that. And is the contract going to make? So if I were to clear here, I would think this looks could go either way, really. I've got 1 spade, 3 hearts, that's 4, 1 definite club, 5, diamonds, 1, 6. And it depends what happens there. So it basically, to me, looks like it depends on whether this club suit's going to work. And I've only got those 2 little cards as entries. So when we win this one, what are we going to do? How can we play this club suit to try and maximize it? If the clubs split 3-1 here, we're stuffed, because that will mean one person's got 3 cards and they'll take out the entry for us. So we basically need to have a 2-2 club split here. So if we just played out our ace of clubs and another, can everyone see what's going to happen? They're going to win it, and we can never, ever get back across to that dummy. The boat's sailed. There's no way for us to get home. So let's undo that. We've won in the hand. We've lost our heart entry. What should we do first? Let's have a look. I think I've got some answers there. Cross of spades. I'd be a little bit worried about doing that. They might start attacking one of the side suits. But there is a way, because at the moment we've still got protection. We've got protection in the spade suit. We've got protection in the heart suit. We've got protection in the diamond suit. We can afford to lose a trick here. So Bill's got it, and I think someone else got it as well. A few people have said it. What you do is you duck a club. You just let it go. You know that you can cope with anything they return. They win the club. They're probably going to attack this heart suit again. You throw away something you don't need. And now the moment of truth, and we know it's going to work for them because we can see all 4 hands. But if the clubs are splitting 2-2 here, we've still got that 3 to communicate up to the ace. So ducking a trick there was the only way that we were going to be able to pull in all these clubs. And now it's home and dried, home and dusted. Let's pull up another one. This might be the one that we did on YouTube, that Bridget and I had a look at on YouTube. So some of you will be familiar with this one, but I like it. So I want to run through it quickly again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's make them play a weak no trump. They've opened a no trump. And this person thinks, yep, 3 no trumps it is. Okay, I think they led the Jack of Hearts here again. So for the people who know, this will feel really easy. But for the people who haven't seen this one, that might feel a little bit confusing. This is like all these things in bridge. It's like once you see the patterns and you know them, it's obvious. It's like someone's told you the outcome to a joke. But if you haven't seen it before, it can be, take a while for your brain to sort of acknowledge and recognize it. But the reason we want to pull these up is so when you do come across these situations at the bridge table, they will feel familiar to you, and you will understand, and you'll think, maybe I need to duck a trick here. So here they've led the Jack of Hearts. This person's going to jump up with their king and attack. Top of a doubleton, when they've got 2 left, attack the heart suit. So this time you've got 7 diamonds. If the diamonds break, 2-2, sorry, you've got 9 diamonds, sorry, there's 4 out there. So if the diamonds break 2-2, it's very, very easy. You play the ace and the king, all their diamonds are gone and the rest of the tricks are yours. If the diamonds break 3-1, also very, very easy. If you play the ace and they both follow, you know that the rest of the diamonds are going to be yours. So in this particular situation, you'll just play the ace first and see what happens. If they both follow, it's happy days. Throw away something you don't, well, no, you have to play a diamond. Okay, and they're going to, depending on what they play, if they play low like, they'd play a 7. If they played high like, they'd play low. So now you've got the bad news. So all those people who watch the YouTube video don't say what to do. But for the people who haven't watched it, I want someone to come in and tell me what we should do next with this diamond suit. So we've tested with the ace. We can afford to lose a diamond trick. We don't need all those diamonds for the contract. We've got those 3 lovely clubs. So it feels weird, but yep, we've got a few people coming in. Duck, add diamonds straight away. So lose that diamond now. We know we can cope with whatever they return. So you lose the diamond, they win it. When you're in defense, you should win with the cheapest one. Not that it really matters in this situation because your partner knows what's going on. They're going to attack the hearts again. You throw away something that you don't need. And now you have that little 5 to communicate between your hand and dummy. So away we go. And it's lovely. So because you ducked the trick there, you've managed to make these 2 extra tricks with these 2 little diamonds. And yeah, and you make the contract very, very easily. Let's pull up one more of these. Right, let's put this one out as well. Okay, so regardless of what bidding system you're playing here, everyone comfortable opening a club here? Got 12 or more points, and I have, depending on which system you play, if you're playing ACL, you'd always have at least 4 clubs. But if you're playing Standard American 2/1, some people play even that they only can have 1 club in this situation. Right, so what would you play here with the North hand? This is worth chatting about, actually. And in fact, this sparked quite a debate at the Easter tournament in London. I brought it up with some world-class players and said, what do you respond here if you play ACL? If you play Standard American or 2/1, most people here play Walsh, and they'd always bid a major. It's just a fun situation. Basically, most ACL players are taught here that you should bid your 4-card suits up the line. So when you've got 2 4-card suits, you bid the lowest one first. Standard American 2/1 will play, like I said, Walsh, and they will bid the major. But it kind of depends when you are an ACL player. It depends on actually what some of your follow-up bids are. So some ACL players here will actually now bid the heart rather than the diamond. I've always taught that you bid it up the line. And I brought it up with some of the top England players, and they just about had a punch up saying what was best. And, you know, some of their thinking was all about what the later bids are, what their 4th suit forcing bid is, what they open with a 4-4-4-1 shape. And so there's a bit of debate about whether now with modern ACL, you should actually be bidding the major. But I've always played, when I play ACL, that I bid my suits up the line. So I bid the lowest one first if I'm playing ACL. And then South is going to come in and bid 2 clubs. Wendy said, is it Walsh or Welsh? I always thought it was Walsh, but maybe I'm wrong. It could be Welsh. I'll have to Google that later, Wendy. I always call it Walsh, but maybe it's my accent and I've just interpreted it wrong. Yes, it could be my accent. Exactly. I'm not going to say some other critical words now. So now they're coming in and bidding 2 clubs. And what do you think about the north hand? So they know their partner has got an opening hand with long clubs. No one likes the minors. They're probably just going to come in and bid 3 no trumps. Well, I think 3 no trumps is better. I think I would probably, yeah, it's touch and go. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, again, it's a sort of style thing. 2 no trumps would say 11, 12 points. And 3 no trumps is basically saying it's game. It's marginal, but this person's punchy. They've gone 3 no trumps. And this time we are going to get a spade lead. So I count the 10 as an honor. Yeah, Mark said it depends on vulnerability, and he's right. And the other thing it can depend on actually is what sort of scoring you're in. So if you're in a team imp scoring, you're much more likely to punch for your games because you're so scared about missing out on that game bonus. And match points, it's not so much about that. It's about making your tricks. So it's a different philosophy. But here they're leading 4th from their honor. For me, the 10 is an honor. And going to let it come around here. Okay, so take a second and let's just count these tricks together. So how many spade tricks, how many heart tricks, how many club tricks, and how many diamond tricks? So I can see that we've got 2 spade tricks because the ace and one of those other honors are going to crash on each other. 1 definite heart trick, 1 diamond, and what about this club holding? They're going to attack this now straight away. And that's taken away your other entry to the dummy. So you've got your 2 spades, your heart, your 2 clubs, and a diamond, but you need to generate some more tricks and clubs. And you also know that you don't need to win every single club here. And in fact, you can't. So what are you going to do to maximize this club holding, to make sure you can win as many tricks as you can? It'd be lovely if you could win 5 clubs tricks here. And I think you're probably getting the vibe of what you should be doing here. Pam says lose a club. Brilliant. So we're going to lose the club first. We know there are 5 out there. We know that they're hopefully going to be split 3-2. So you're going to lose this club first. They're going to attack your spades. There goes your last spade. And now you've got 1 club left, but you have got 2 club winners. So trick 2 is going to be won by the ace, and that takes care of the 2 clubs. And then that last club that's out there can be taken care of with the king. And now it's fantastic. We've got these 3 extra clubs, 7, and then the 8, ace of hearts, and the ace of diamonds. So duck that club, leave another club, which leaves another club for you to come back over to your hand for trick, to the dummy, sorry, for trick 2 and trick 3 to maximize that suit holding. Let's pop back to the slides again. Here are some ducking situations. So we've pretty much covered these with what we've talked about, but I've popped them in the slides and they're available for you later. This one here is a, I think we've got a 9-card diamond suit here, haven't we? We've got 7 on that side and 2 in your hand. So 7 in the dummy and 2 in your hand. So let's just run through the statistics. So if you had no other entries and you really needed 7 tricks here, you would actually just have to hope for a 2-2 break with this holding. So yeah, hopefully you can all see it. You've got 7 in the dummy, 2 in your hand. So if you had no entries and you just needed 7 tricks, that's when you just have to think they have to break 2-2, have to play out the ace and the king. And if they break 2-2, it's going to make. And as you can see here, I've put the statistics here. The chances of that happening is about 40%, whereas the chances of them breaking 3-1 is much, much more. It's like 49%. So if you wanted to make a safety play here, if you didn't need to make all 7 of those diamonds, you're happy making 6 of them, then you can make this contract go from a 40% likelihood right up to like a 90% likelihood by ducking a diamond here. So if you ducked a diamond, that's trick 1, ducks the diamond. And then you play the 7 up to the ace, that's trick 2. And then the king, trick 3. So if they do break 3-1, it means you can get all the rest. So someone said they can't see. Can just someone tell me which one we're looking at the moment? Are we looking at the slides, or are we looking at the someone can just say if you can see the slides or if you can see the bridge base. Oh, good, Chris. Thanks. You can see the slide. Yeah. So in this particular holding here, it depends on how many tricks you need. So if you're happy not to take all 7 diamond tricks, you should duck 1 first, because that increases your odds from 40% right up to 90%. But say you have got now 10 diamonds between the 2 hands, it completely changes. Valerie says she can't see any slides. Right. Okay. Yeah. No. So yeah, get in touch with Bajir. Hopefully he can sort it out for you. Fingers crossed. So this second one here, it's a different situation, because now you have got 10 diamonds between the 2 hands. So when you've got 10 diamonds between the 2 hands, this is a bit like the one we had before. You play up to the ace, and if they both follow, you know they're fine. Let's go through, and I think we might have some unblocking situations to talk about. So unblocking is another interesting thing, and you've probably all had this happen before. You've got a high card that can suddenly just get in the way, and this high card of yours can block the communication between your hand and dummy. So when this happens to you and you've identified this problem, you really just need to think and stop and think, how can we get that high card out of the way to aid that communication between your hand and the dummy hand? So I've got a little example here, but I will also bring it up on Bridge Base so we can go through it together. It's often a matter of timing, this unblocking business. Let me take you across again to Bridge Base. Redeal the hand. Let's see if we get that one. We do. Lovely. Okay, so this is a nice hand that West has got. Everyone tell me what they think they're going to open with this West hand. Yeah, modern bridge is always opening a spade here. Okay, so interesting. North hand. I want to find out whether people think would overcall with this hand. Thoughts on overcalling from some of our active participants, please. So Rosemary is. A lot of people saying they're going to overcall here with the clubs. Angela is, Shiroya is, Patty, everyone is. Okay, so this is really interesting. So the problem with overcalling here is you've got a really nasty shape. You've got a 5-3-3-2 shape. That's the worst overcalling shape at the 2 level. Whenever you've got a 5-3-3-2 shape, be a bit careful about overcalling at the 2 level. It's a nasty shape. The other thing about overcalling here is, what sort of space are you taking up if you overcall a club with a spade? You're not really stopping the opponent's bidding anything if you overcall 2 clubs here. And it's kind of interesting as well, because you don't even 100% know that you want a club lead. It could be that a diamond lead is right from your partner. So it was interesting because I had this hand and I thought, I'm going to ask an expert here. I'm going to ask a wizard. What would you do with this hand? Would you overcall 2 clubs? And he messaged back, LOL, no, he wouldn't, he said. And I thought, okay, interesting. He said he wouldn't overcall with the club holding because he doesn't like the shape, and because, like we said, it doesn't take up any space. It doesn't stop the opponent's bidding anything. And I thought, okay, that's fascinating. But then he made the point that, say I had actually opened a diamond with the West hand, then he said he would overthink. He would think about overcalling 2 clubs because it takes up the space, because it stops the opponents bidding the majors. So that's some interesting and something to think about. I think people do overcall a bit too often at the 2 level, and me included, because the temptation to get involved is huge. I completely see the temptation to come in and bid 2 clubs here. So we're going to get them to pass in the traditional expert style. And okay, so another fun question for you. East hand. What should they respond? I'm going to make, what system shall we be playing? Well, we can chat about it. We'll chat about it both ways. So if you're playing Ecol here, what are you going to bid? So 10 points. So if you're playing Ecol, 10 points is too good to bid 2 spades, and you're also promising, well, you might only have 3 to go 1 spade, 2 spade, but if you jump to 3 spades, you're promising 4 spades. Some people might place what's called a Berg and raise here, where they can actually show that they've got support for spades and a 10 count, and that is a handy system if you're playing 5-card majors. So Jerry said 2 hearts. Okay, I've got to stop saying people's names because I don't want to publicly shame people. There's a really, really important principle here. You must never, ever respond with a major at the 2 level if you've only got 4 of them. That's like a bridge sin. And if you can take one thing away from today's lesson, I would love you to take that one away. You must always have 5 or more of a major to respond with your major at the 2 level. You should never, ever do it with 4. It'll get you in a terrible, terrible pickle. Your partner will think that you've got 5 and they'll jump. So if I were playing Ecol here, you have to actually be a bit creative. Some people play, it's really easy. It's because the hearts look so lovely. That's why people feel tempted by it. They just think, oh, just get my major across. But you just can't with 4 of them. So if I was stuck for a bid here, and this can actually happen to people who are playing 5-card majors too, depending on what they've got, I would actually fake a club bid. I would bid 2 clubs. So I'm lying, it's true, but I'd much rather lie about my minor than lie about having a 5-card major, which can just get you in a terrible mess. And the reason about lying about a minor is okay, it's because no one ever really wants to play in a minor. So if you're bidding a minor and you don't have a major fit, you're sort of going to end up in 3 no trumps anyway, usually. So they're not usually going to get excited about the minor. But in this position, you just can bid a club here, fake it, and say to your partner, at least you've got your 10 plus points across to your partner. And then you can just see what's happening next with them. So pass here. Now there's a bit of a question about whether this person's going to show their spades or the diamonds. I think my spades are lovely here. My hand seems to be all about spades. So they bid 2 spades. Ah, they're not going to pass. Undo. Then they're going to raise to 3 spades and get to 4 spades. So Jerry said, what about 2 no trumps? And 2 no trumps is definitely a good option if you don't play Jacoby. So Jacoby, the Jacoby 2 no trumps is when you show support for your major. And at some stage, I would love to do some lessons about some of these good intermediate key bidding toolbox bids that we can use that can help describe, especially fit for majors. So the Jacoby 2 no trumps often takes that 2 no trumps away as an option. But even if you don't play Jacoby, there's also a good case for actually bidding 2 clubs here. And I'll see if you can just think about why that might be for a minute. Just think about space again. It can sometimes be superior to bid 2 clubs rather than 2 no trumps. Yeah, as Jerry said, it keeps it low. So when you bid 2 clubs, it means that your partner has got 2 diamonds available to them and also 2 hearts available to them to keep that communication going. It's all about communication, remember? Whereas if you bid 2 no trumps, it's much harder. It's much harder to keep things going, to keep the flow going and find out exactly what's going on. Yeah, save 2 no trumps for Jacoby. Jacoby's a fun bit, and I definitely want to talk about that some stage. So now we're in 4 spades. They're going to lead the king of clubs. So if you play low like here, you're playing the 5. If you play high like, you're playing the 9. So this person, I like low like. I know it's meant to be slightly better. So I'm going to play low like. So when your partner likes the suit, don't forget they could like it for a couple of reasons. One reason they might like it is because they've got a doubleton. And the other reason they might like it is because they've got the ace. So just be a little bit careful about thinking about that. So they carry on with the suit. And then they play another one. and they ruff it. Okay, so the declarer is in. How can they make this contract, and what is the problem? Let's count the spades. One's already gone for a ruff. How many more spades? So hopefully you got another 5 spade tricks. So that gives you 6 spades. You got the ace of diamonds, 7. So you really need those hearts, to come to the party. And you've got, losing diamonds, which is not great. You've potentially got 3 losing diamonds as well. You might struggle to ruff one. The ace of hearts is the problem. This is one of these classic unblocking situations, and you've got to be very, very aware about it. So in terms of looking at this dummy at the east hand, how many entries has this hand actually got? It's only got 1 entry. So there's basically only 1 opportunity to sail across that vast ocean to your dummy. So you've got to be really careful about making sure you sail at the right time across to dummy, because that's your 1 chance. Once you've gone there, that's it. So you've got to be very careful about this hand. So I'd start by thinking, look, we had 9 spades between us. So there's 4 out there. Take this one. 2 gone. Take this one. Depending on what they play here. So key point here, what must we do now? We know there's a spade out there, but if we cross to the ace of spades now, we're stuffed. Because when we play a heart, we're back in the west hand and we can never get back across to dummy. So how do we aid communication here? Great. People are coming up with some perfect. Everyone's saying take your ace of hearts. You must take the ace of hearts now. Let's do it. Hopefully they can both follow, and they do. Unblocked. We've done the job. So now you can cross over to the dummy, and perfect. We can get rid of those nasty diamond losers. Away they go. And last one. Perfect. And claim the rest of those. So you can see what a terrible pickle you would have got into if you'd crossed over to that ace of spades too early. You would have got over there, and then you could never get back across to the hearts later, because when you played a heart, you're going to end up with the ace back in the west hand and then cannot get back across the dummy. So you've got to make sure you sail your boat at the right time. Let's try another one of these. Okay, this is a fun one. Who knows, by the way, do people play on Bridgemaster on BBO? I hope you've all found Bridgemaster under the practice session on BBO. If you haven't, give it a go. So when you go into Bridge Base, under practice, there's something called Bridgemaster, and it will give you a little tutorial, and it's got hundreds of hands set up by experts. And you can start at a sort of beginner's level and go right up to expert level, which is, like, as far as I can see, even experts can't do expert level. Pretty hard, but it's a very, very good way to practice, and you get a little tutorial at the bottom. So these hands, this next one is kind of an example hand, but it's a fun hand. So let's give this one a go. I think here what happened on this hand is East opened 2 spades to say they were weak, with 6 to 9 points and a 6-card spade suit. And South, there's options. Some people here play, they might play Leaping Michaels or Michaels, but here what they did is they just overcalled 3 diamonds. And West raised because West is bidding to the level of fit. So West knows that her partner has got 6 spades. So if she's got 3, so she should bid for as many tricks as she's got trumps. Just interfere, get in the way of the opponents, break their communication. Breaking communication, super fun. So she's going to bid 3 spades. And then the North hand bid 3 no trumps, because they have got a double protection in that spade holding. Okay, then they led the Queen of Spades. Everyone stop, count the tricks. You've got tons of diamonds. The diamonds are probably going to be okay unless it's like a 5-0 split. Yeah, Valerie's obviously found Bridge Master. It is great. I honestly recommend it. If you do it, you just get familiar with all these patterns. So how many tricks do you think you're going to make in no trumps on this lead? Honestly, who's optimistic? Linda saying 10. Fiona saying 11. David saying 13. I like David's thoughts. What else have we got? It's a beautiful hand, right? Trish is thinking 13 as well. I think 13 too. And this is such a fun hand. Let's do it together. Hold on. So they play the 5. This person, depending on what they play. Okay, so now comes down the ace. So the next card is key. So you've got those lovely diamonds. What's the problem with the club suit? First question. If you play a club up to the ace, are you ever going to be able to come back to your hand? It's blocking. It's blocked. The club suit is blocked. I mean, you'd possibly be able to come back with a king of hearts, but you can see actually that East has got the ace. So even if you do play it that way, you'll be okay. You're going to make this contract. They get a bit in played, East, but you won't make as many tricks. So Jerry's saying 5 of diamonds to the ace. Yep, you can play out all your diamonds, play the ace of clubs, unblock it, and then play up to the heart. But then they get in and get control. But there's a beautiful way to play this hand. What can we do on trick 2? Someone's got it. Yep, that's it. So we're going to play the king. It feels so weird and it feels so dangerous, but it's not dangerous because you know you've got your tricks covered. So you're playing this king, and let's get rid of that pesky ace. People feel really nervous about doing things like this because they feel they're throwing away something really valuable, but it's not. It's basically the equivalent of the 9 in the other hand. You've got all the top clubs covered. The 9, the 10, the jack, the queen, the king, and ace are all of equal value to you. So it's almost as if you're just throwing away the 9. It's like you had the 9 in the south hand and the ace in the north hand. It's of equal value to you. And you wouldn't think twice about playing the king and throwing away the 9. So chuck away this ace. And I agree with you, Judith. It's beautiful. It's lovely. And it's so much fun, right? So now we're going to play these clubs. Getting completely squeezed, these poor people. Look at this. And you've been seeing them throw away diamonds as well, so you know this is brilliant. And up to those beautiful diamonds. And away we go. So that's a really, really fun unblocking hand. And you can see how you just need to get rid of that. You need to get rid of that. Where is it? Here we go. Ace of clubs. It's kind of twisting your brain around. And I also think it's a psychological thing. When you see high cards, you psychologically think, oh, I need to keep that. I can't throw that away. But you really can. So sometimes you do need to throw them away. Play them first, like the last hand, or actually chuck them away, which feels weird, but it's very, very fun. Okay, let's see if we've got another one of these. Hold on a second. I think we do. Okay, this is another one. 8. What have we got here with this West hand? 18 points. So what you open here is a sort of, depends on which system you're playing again. So what can we open here? I think it might have been who's playing the hand? Let me just have a quick peek. So I think they opened, think it might have been an echo opening, so maybe they opened a heart. And then they overcalled a spade, which is fine. So overcalling at the one level, completely different, and that's a lovely holding as well. So this is when they do open here and they open a spade, what's East going to bid? If they wanted to penalise the spade, they would actually pass here, but I don't think their spades are good enough to want to penalise. They would pass and hope their partner reopened with a double. So they've got 9 points. I'm going to bid one no trump here. I'm going to bid one no trump to say I've got to stop in the spade suit. How many points to bid a no trump here? Because people often get this a wee bit wrong. So if your partner opens the bidding and there's been an overcall, what are you promising when you bid the one no trump? It's no longer what we call the dustbin anymore. It's no longer 6 to 9 any old rubbish. You're showing something more positive now. So you must have a stop in the spade suit. Got Fiona, Maggie coming in. What would be the point count, the minimum point count for bidding a no trump here? So I think 10 to 12 is a bit high. Yeah, so Carol, yeah, 8 to 10. I think that's right. But you mustn't do it with a 6 count anymore. I see people do that quite a lot because they sort of think it's the equivalent of coming in with a dustbin, but it's not. It's a more positive response now when you come in and bid one no trump. And that makes it good for West because West now knows their partner's not bidding this with 6 points. So their partner must have at least 8 or 9 points to make this one no trump bid. So she jumps up, or he, the 3 no trumps. I better put a he in. And on this hand, they are leading the top of a doubleton. So take a moment to think about this hand. How many tricks? When you think about the spades, the hearts, the diamonds, and the clubs. So you can see, got 1 spade, 2 hearts, that's 3, 5 clubs, hopefully, that's 8, and a diamond. So you could rebid 2 no trumps, David, for sure. Yep, because that would show that you've got a big balanced hand. And a lot of people would play that, that you could. But I think I probably would bid 3 because I know that my partner has got that 8 or 9 count over the no trump. But it does give your partner more space for sure, if you do. Okay, so is everyone counted their tricks here? And can people see what the problem is? This sort of one is a bit of it's very, very easy to miss this situation. So you really need to spot and look at the pip cards, they're called, those intermediate cards in the suits. So clubs are lovely. You need the clubs to give you 5 tricks, but what is a potential problem with this club suit? Are you going to have communication between the 2 hands? The 9 and 8 of clubs are a problem. So they look like little cards. They don't look like they're going to do much harm, but they really can here. They can be a complete pain, these 2 cards, because when you end up in this East hand and play over to the ace and the queen, your 9 cannot be overtaken by anything in the East hand. And you won't at this point have your ace of spades anymore. So what can you do with this hand? You're going to play, you kind of know because of the overcall that your jack's dead anyway. They're going to win with the cheapest card they can. So should you win this trick or duck it? Yep, so I'm ducking it as well. Okay, they're going to attack again. Should we win or duck it? Chris is saying duck. I'm with him. I would probably duck it as well. There's a way of doing it even if you don't duck it, but I think we should duck it here. So we're going to duck this. And then they're going to attack again. Going to win it. This person's going to throw away something. Okay, so now crunch time. What are you going to throw away from the West hand and why? So clever people who know this already, don't reply. I want the people who haven't come across this idea to work it out. What can we throw here? We need all these tricks. We have to do something really clever. Yeah, no, people are getting it. Just lovely. Well done. So you throw the club away. And now your communications are completely fine. Going across. And we can overtake that 9. And because we don't have that 8 anymore in the dummy, we can enjoy this one as well. So fun hand, that one. It's clever. I know. It's cool. It's good, someone said. Let's see what we've got next. I think we've probably got to 10:30. So we might see Bridget jumping in at some time, but let's give it a go until we see his face. We might get a chance to do one more. Awesome hand in the north hand. So I'm mixing them up a bit now. I don't want people to start expecting the unblocks. Top hand, what are you opening? It is a very addictive game, Judith. Be careful. What are you opening with the north hand? Let's do one more. Let's do it. If Bridget comes on, we'll just delete him. What are you going to open? 2 no trumps. Wonderful. Lovely, big, balanced hand. East is taken out of the bidding. 5 points with the south hand. They're going to bid 3 no trumps. Now they're going to start with a spade suit, top of the sequence, headed by an honor. Okay, quickly count your tricks, everyone. We've got 2 spades, 2 hearts, the ace of clubs, and the ace and king of diamonds. So we've got 1 more protection left in the spade suit. We've got 2 protections in the heart suit, the ace and king of hearts. We've only got 1 protection, 1 line of defense in the club suit. And with the diamond suit, we have got 2 top cards. So in this particular hand, we need to generate tricks in this diamond suit. So how are we going to play it? We don't have to win every single diamond. We can lose a trick here. Yes, you're all doing really well. We're going to duck a diamond. So here I might play the king of diamonds first. It doesn't actually matter as long as you duck in the first or second trick. So you don't mind losing the lead. You duck just to be careful because you don't know that the split's going to be good or bad for you. It's true that if West had 2 each, you'd be fine. But here they don't. So you duck to be safe. And you know that you've got protection in every single suit. So they can come back, they can attack you again. But you get hold of it and you still have that little 8 of diamonds. You've got room. You've got that little boat still there for you to get across to the diamonds. And now you can enjoy these 3 and you're home and dusted. And we've got, what do we got? 7 tricks. And you can see that we've got the ace of hearts, king of hearts, and the ace of clubs. So have a practice on bridge base. Watch out for these situations when you're playing bridge at your local clubs or whichever way you're playing your bridge at the moment. Look out for ducking a trick and unblocking. Be aware of it. Watch out for the small cards and don't be scared about throwing away or overtaking honors when they're all of equal value for you.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, everyone. Bridget, that's nice of you to do that extra hand. I was prepared to give you an encore to lead the crowd and call it back out. One more.
I'll do another one now. Let's do another one.
This has really just been wonderful. And really challenging with a number of them, including the 8 and 9 clubs hand. Like, I didn't even see the problem at first,
So
which is
easy.
exactly the sort of hand I get in trouble, where I thought, wait, I thought this was clear sailing, and the rough waters took me by surprise.
Yeah, I know. You just have to, it's all about taking the time at the beginning to plan and to look. It's so easy to miss those things. And especially if you're a little bit nervous, if you're playing against people you may be a little bit intimidated by, just take your time to look, plan the play and look for problems. And if you do that, it's just so much easier. You'll spot them early, less likely to stuff it up.
Brilliant, Bridget. Thank you, everyone, especially folks who could join us live. And likewise to those who invited friends to join us today. Whether you're here live or watching by replay, if you have a friend who you think might appreciate this lesson, we'd be so grateful if you shared it with them. Keep your eye on the inbox. I'll send this replay to everyone who registered. So stay tuned there. And we hope maybe some of you will keep learning with Bridget. There's a free trial for her class membership. So if you'd like to keep learning, just come to learnbridgeonline.com. You can join the class and you'll immediately gain access to dozens of past lessons, including the one from last week, which was also in this communication series. You can watch that right away. Bridget, this is so much fun. What do you have in store for us next week?
Well, more communications. So we're going to keep going on this communication theme. So I think next week we're going to look more at communications and breaking communications with the defense, which is a fun idea as well.
So
we don't
we put
want
on
those
a different
defenders
hat. This time
talking
you
to each
taught us
other.
how we can watch out for it, but now next week we get to cause some trouble.
I think so. That'd be good fun.
Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully see you all next week. Reach out anytime.
Yep. And thanks for getting involved, everyone. I loved all your feedback and your input into the lesson. So great fun.